take your coffee break with me. Come and take your coffee break with me. Come and take your coffee. Come and take your coffee. Come and take your coffee break with me.
Hello and welcome back to Coffee Break with Candace. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks so much for tuning in. This week I am both the host and the guest. I did this for a couple of reasons. Number one, I thought it would be good for me to be reminded of what it is like when I ask a guest to come on my show and share their story. It's not always the easiest thing to come and just, share and be vulnerable. And so I think if nothing else, it will just remind me to appreciate the people that come on and are willing to do this. I also thought it would be fun for you to get to know a little bit about me as well. And so I sent out a request this week asking for people to send in questions that I could answer. And so we're going to go through and answer a few questions. I've also got a couple of games for us to play and prizes to win. And then I'm going to share a little bit about my music and upcoming documentary.
Hi, my name is Erica Barca, and a few questions I have for you are, when you became a doctor, how many years did it take for you to become one? And my other question is, what did you have to do in school? What did it take for you to become one?
Eric, thanks so much for the question. And what I would say to you is that to become a doctor, it takes hard work, determination, and believing in yourself. Not giving up when things are hard. As far back as I can remember, I remember telling my mom I wanted to be a doctor. And what she told me is, you can do anything, you can be anything. And that's my same advice to you, or my same comment to you. You can do anything, you can be anything. And for me, I decided to be a family practice doctor because I wanted to take care of people of all ages. And so that took 4 years of college, 4 years of medical school, and 3 years of residency. And it can take longer if you decide to go into a specialty like orthopedics or you want to be a brain surgeon. I hope this helps. I'm so excited for you and what's next for you. I know you're going to do great things. And when you become a doctor, I would love for you to be my doctor.
Hello, Dr. Bellamy. I have a question. I was wanting to know, how has COVID-19 disease changed the way you think and feel about medicine, music, and filmmaking?
COVID has definitely impacted the way I think and feel, particularly about music and filmmaking. For my job in medicine, there has not been a significant change because I'm not seeing patients regularly. I'm doing other things in medicine. With the filmmaking, I had all these grand plans to get the film finished this year. I was super excited about that. And unfortunately, with COVID, I've had to make some changes to the plan to finish the film and be creative in the way I'm even working on the film right now. And that's not a bad thing because ultimately great things can come out of challenges such as COVID. Actually, the last time I performed music was in February. So that's been really challenging for me. One of the ways I have worked through or pivoted with that is to set up a home studio so I can do some recording. And my keyboard player and I are actually working on a new project that we plan to release next month in November.
And speaking of music, I would love to share my very first music video that I did back in 2013. The song is called Just One Girl, and I remember it was tax day when we wrote the song because I came in and told both of my songwriting partners that it was a bad day for me. So, and by bad day, I mean I was going to owe some money for taxes. There had been an error in calculations, and I can't remember if it was mine or someone else's, but it didn't matter because I owed money. And so we were supposed to write a love song, and we had this whole thing planned, and I told them what was going on, and they were like, oh, we have to write about this. And so from my misery came the joyful song, Just One Girl.
Get up or stay in bed. Eat that cake or hit the gym instead. Which to choose, which to lose. All I can do is all I can do. I'm just one girl, and this is my world. Love or hate, hurry or wait. Do my best, second guess. Which to choose, which to lose. All I can do is all I can do. I'm just one girl, and this is my world. Get busy or let things ride. Sometimes it hurts my head to even decide. Should I pay now or should I pay later? Will the problems be minor? Will the troubles be major? Which to choose, which to lose. All I can do is all I can do. I'm just one girl, and this is my world. I'm just one girl, and this is my world. I'm just one girl, oh, and this is my world.
I have a question for you. Let's see if I can ask it properly without coming off like Chris Farley on Saturday Night Live. You're a creative, brilliant person. You make films, you write songs, you sing beautifully, the voice of an angel. So you have this creative side, but you're also a physician, and you've done many things in the world of medicine. Do you see these things separately in your life, or is it all part of the same Candace package? Do you see a sense of creativity in your medical side of your life?
So thank you, Rush. How are you? And thank you so much for the question. And actually, I do see them all as part of the same package, believe it or not. The filmmaking, the music, and medicine. And probably people have heard this before, but medicine is an art as well as a science. And so I think blending all of these things together, the music, the filmmaking, and medicine are all a part of me. I think the things that I love about each one of them, the storytelling, the connection with people, is the common thread. Sometimes it's a song that makes someone's day better. I moved to Texas in 2006 to do more music. My friend John said, Austin is the live music capital of the world. If you want to do music, you should go there. And I was like, okay. So I came down and looked around and I liked it. And I moved. and moved thinking, okay, I read all the books that tell you, oh, it'll probably take 100 times before you get one offer to be in a band. And that was my expectation. The first band I auditioned for, I went in and I sang, and I thought, well, one down, 99 to go. And I got a call that same evening asking me to be a lead singer for their band. And when I say a lead singer, I probably should say the lead singer. And you talk about an incredible experience, because it gave me the opportunity to grow as a musician. We did about 40 songs a night, and we usually played Friday, Saturday, and sometimes on Sunday. And I remember one of the times I was singing with the band and we were on break, and this woman said to me, she said, "You don't know how much it meant to hear you sing. I had a really bad day, and this has just made, things so much better." And I think that was one of the first times I realized the effect that music can have on people in the way that medicine does, and that, the healing that can occur as a result of it. And so, having said that, they all inform each other: the music, the medicine, the filmmaking. Each one makes me better at the other thing, and I love that I get to do all three of them. I know sometimes it can be a little overwhelming, but I love it. Thank you for the question, Rush. Hope you're well. Look forward to seeing you soon in person one day sometime, whenever that is.
Hi, Dr. Bellamy. What advice would you give to younger generations of future filmmakers who might not know where to start?
What I would say to young filmmakers is to create. So the great thing is we have all this amazing technology now. I mean, we can make great films on our smartphones. And what I would say to you is to go out and make videos of your friends, film nature, whatever you have access to. Start creating stories right now. Don't worry about if they're great. Don't worry about if they're terrible. Just create and really start to enjoy the process of filmmaking. And I would say too, if you are in a community where there is a film school, or there are, film clubs or film activities, is to get involved and participate in those. Watch film. What do you like and what do you not like? So I think you start enjoying the process of filmmaking, not worrying about if this is the one that's going to win an Oscar or win some type of award or accolades. Enjoy the process, enjoy the journey. And sometimes what we find is the things that we thought were great, people don't love. The things that maybe are flawed and not perfect are the things that resonate with people. And there's no real way to know that every time. So the best thing to do is just to create. So now it's time for a question for the audience. I'm going to do my segment, Who Said That?, where I give you a quote, and the first person that tells me who said that will win a Coffee Break with Candace mug. And I actually have a few new ones, and I've had people inquire about these mugs, so I would love to give one away today. So this quote, actually, and I will take any of the three answers that I found as the origin of this quote. This quote is, "Better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to speak out and remove all doubt." Again, the quote is, "Better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to speak out and remove all doubt." And so there are variations of this quote. And as I mentioned, there are at least two people and one book that are referenced when I did my research as the origins of this quote. And I will take any one of those as the correct answer. And all you have to do is go to my Facebook page, which is listed on the screen, and be the first person to give one of the correct answers. And I will contact you, I will message you on Facebook, and then get your address and send you a brand new Coffee Break with Candace mug. So next up, I'm going to share a video that I did back in 2017. This video is, well, they're all my favorites, so why am I even saying this? I love this video because this video is a little bit darker than some of the other things that I have co-written before. For me, this song actually came from all places, work. So it was one of those days where I was having a bad day, And somebody was saying something to me, and I went back to my office and I thought, wow, your words are empty. And then I thought, so is your soul. I was like, oh, I think that's a song. So from that came this next video, this next song called Undone.
Your words are empty, so is your soul. You like to think no one knows. Gotta change my direction for my own protection. I gotta move on. Oh, I gotta move on. Your personal style, the curve of your smile, can't hide the darkness that feeds you, keeps you alive. Gotta change my direction for my own protection. I gotta move on. I gotta move on. You wanted your way, ask me to take sides, but you don't know this is my last ride. Gotta change my direction for my own protection. I gotta move on. Oh, I gotta move on. No, I gotta move on. I gotta move on. Gotta be strong. Oh, I gotta move on. I gotta move on. I gotta move on. I gotta be strong. Oh, I gotta move
Hey Candace, I've had the pleasure of being a keyboard player with you for the past several years, and one of the things that I've noticed during our sound checks is sometimes you will start singing without any notes being played by any other instruments. And once you start singing, maybe me or the guitar player will start joining in, and you'll be perfectly in tune without any reference notes. So my question to you is, do you have perfect pitch? And if you do, have you always had it, or is that something that you've learned over time? Thanks.
Hey Todd, hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for the question. Tell Laurel I said hello. In terms of perfect pitch, I was told by a voice teacher several years ago that I had perfect pitch. You know, maybe it's a combination of coming to this life with some degree of perfect pitch and honing that with the years of singing and being in bands and, you know, the a cappella singing that I did starting out when I was little. I will say too that I also, you know, a fun fact is that as a songwriter, I don't actually write with an instrument. I actually, you know, use my voice and create melodies and lyrics, and then I will send the melody, like if Todd and I are writing a song together, and then he'll create music with that.
Hey Candace, this is Michael Romero from Austin, Texas. And one of the questions I have for you is, how do you prioritize all the different things that you do?
So, how do I prioritize? I'm still a work in progress when it comes to that. I also know at the same time that I still work full time as a physician, so that definitely is a priority and a commitment 4 days a week for the time that I'm supposed to be at work. And then after that, when it comes to filmmaking and music, it is what is up next. And so if I have a gig, which unfortunately due to COVID, that's not the case, then I prepare for that. And then once I've prepared for that, then I start to work on something for the film. And if, for instance, I have an interview for the film, that becomes the priority after work. And then whatever remaining time I have, I focus on the music. So it is a constant balancing act, a juggling act. I'd love to show you a clip of the film that I'm working on. And for more information about the film, please go to www.healermd.com. When I met Dr. Elders in 2018, I decided that I wanted to create a film based on her story alone. Her story, a daughter of sharecroppers, the oldest of 9, raised without electricity and running water, only to become the first African American Surgeon General of the United States, is nothing short of inspiring.
I've seen bright young people all over this country in an ocean surrounded by the sharks of drugs, alcohol, homicide, suicide, AIDS, and teen pregnancy, while we argue over whose values are we going to teach.
Very controversial, and in some cases contrary to our nation's health, and so I think her nomination still has some troubled days ahead.
Dr. Elders easily meets the high professional and ethical standards required of the Surgeon General. In fact, she surpasses them. She may become an unconventional Surgeon General, but she also has the potential to be a great Surgeon General.
I think maybe the biggest misconception is that she was a wild liberal who was going to increase sexual activity among adolescents by talking about it. I mean, it was sort of, if you don't tell them about puberty, they're not going to go through it. And it was ridiculous. She lived in a real world.
When I think of growing up in Shaw, I think of, it was very rural. The population of Shaw, Arkansas is 99. 98 when I'm in Little Rock. So it's a very tiny farming community.
And we're talking about in the 50s when we first started out. And in fact, my parents had mules and wagons. You know, we didn't have a car or anything like that. And so it was work from sun up to sundown. And then when we would come home, you know, we had one bathtub, and we had all of us, once we came home from the field, we all had to wait turns taking our bath. And we used lye soap that we made up ourselves.
My mom and dad, only finished 8th grade, but they prided education. My mom always said, if you want to get out of the cotton patch, you've got to get something in your head.
Well, it was 1957. Jocelyn came home from Philander Smith College, and we worked all day in the field, and we wanted to go to see the movie Oh Yellow. And so when she took us to the drive-in theater in Nashville, Arkansas, we drove in, and you know, this was when everything was segregated, so they had the section for colored. So that night, she didn't drive all the way back to the colored section. She went for, it was the white section. The attendant came and told her that, you know, you can't park here, which she already knew. She was saying, well, she paid her money like everybody else. That incident brought about a consciousness about what was happening in the country. You'd already had the Montgomery bus boycott by then, and that. So it really brought it home for me.
During medical school, I did not feel that I was treated differently. I felt that they expected me to do my work and get everything done, and they did not expect me to have any special favors. And I didn't expect to have any special favors. I remember one teacher, and she was an obstetrician, and I think she really liked me a lot. But we was talking about, not race, but one day she told me, she says, I was a senior medical student at the time. She says, Jocelyn, you know, you have as much education as a lot of white people. I looked at her and I said, Doctor, I have more education than most white people. And she realized absolutely, that was true. I think she was meaning it as a compliment, but it really wasn't necessarily a compliment.
Governor Clinton at the time asked her to be the state health officer, and she was very surprised. And she was a very strong-minded, outspoken woman. And she'd go to our legislature, mostly older white men, and said things that they weren't accustomed to hearing. As a pediatrician, she was very concerned about teen births. And Arkansas has usually been first in the nation in the percentage of teen births. And so she promoted birth control. She became nationally known for her advocacy.
If reproductive choice is to be a reality in our country, reproductive choice must include access to the latest, most effective means of contraception.
After being nominated as Surgeon General, well, there was a lot of problems because everybody came out after me. They didn't. If I'm talking about sex education and condoms and things like that, well, there was a whole group of people who were just absolutely opposed to that kind of thing. But I went through a difficult confirmation, and probably without the help of Ted Kennedy, I probably would have never made it. It was very contentious and very difficult. And I'll never forget, and I went to meet all of the senators, and I had senators who refused to shake my hand. And then I had another senator, and I'll never forget, his dad was an obstetrician, and he said, Dr. Elders, He said, I want you to know if I vote for you, my people won't vote for me. He said, but you're right. He said, we know you're right. He said, and I want you to know that if your confirmation comes down to my vote, you've got it.